Tomorrow morning, before you make the coffee, walk into your bathroom and look down at your shower drain. If you do the thing I am about to show you tonight, here is what will be sitting there. A ring of gray-brown paste around the strainer, the color of wet cardboard. Dark flecks stuck to the metal like coffee grounds. Short pieces of hair standing straight up in the opening because something pushed them there from underneath. And a soft rope of slime laying across the grate that looks like it crawled up out of the pipe on its own. It did, in a way. It floated up on a raft of oxygen bubbles that formed in your drain line while you slept. That gray-brown material has a name. It is biofilm, a living colony of bacteria that built itself a house out of your hair, your soap scum, and the oil off your skin and glued it to the inside wall of your pipe. It is not dirt. Dirt rinses. This does not rinse, and that is the whole problem. Your shower drain grows the thickest biofilm in the house. I have pulled tailpieces out from under showers with a 1/4 inch of that stuff, lining the pipe all the way around, soft as pudding and black underneath. That is your musty shower smell. Not the tile, not the curtain, not the towels your wife keeps re-washing trying to chase it down. Now, the hardware store will sell you a $12 pouch of specialty drain treatment, and a service call to be told your drain is dirty runs $150 in most markets. The stuff that actually does this job costs $1. It is that brown bottle in the back of your medicine cabinet. 3% hydrogen peroxide sitting there since somebody skinned a knee in 2019. 10 steps in order, and the order matters. Number 7 is the one almost nobody checks, and in an older house, it is usually where the smell is really coming from. After the last one, I have got a bonus, a way to read how fast the smell comes back and learn where the trouble lives. Let us start at the top and work down. Point 1. Number 1. Pull the strainer and get the hair out before you pour anything. Nobody wants this part. Do it anyway. Your strainer comes out one of a few ways. Some lift straight out. Some have a screw in the middle, sometimes under a little snap-off cap. Look before you force anything. That flange underneath is soft brass or plastic. Strainer out, glove on, flashlight in hand, and go in after the mat. Because there is almost always a mat. Hair braids itself into a wad down in the throat and catches everything that comes after it. A bent coat hanger will do it. A plastic zip tool with the barbs on the sides does it better and runs about $2. Push past the wad, twist a 1/4 turn, pull slow. Onto a paper towel, not back into the drain. Here is why this is not optional. Hydrogen peroxide is a stripper, not a shovel. It oxidizes the slime holding the mess together and floats loose material up on the foam. What it will not do is dissolve a hair wad. Hair is keratin, and 3% peroxide is not eating through a knot of it while you sleep. Leave the wad and your foam spends itself on the outside of that plug and never reaches the pipe wall where the colony lives. Ask me how I know. I poured a whole bottle down a customer's shower once and came back to the same standing water and the same smell. Because I skipped the fishing. Mechanical first, chemical second. Mat is out. Now the next layer down, the one you have been staring past for years. Point 2, number 2. Scrub the underside of the strainer and the ring inside the drain throat. Flip that strainer over. See the black ring on the bottom side, the part that faces down into the hole? Same colony. Only this is the piece living closest to your nose in a small room with the door shut. Here is something that surprises people. When a customer says their shower smells musty, better than half that smell is usually coming off 2 square inches on the bottom of that strainer and the collar of gunk just inside the flange. The deep stuff feeds it, but the top layer is what you smell, because that is the part with air on it. So take an old toothbrush, dip the strainer in a cup of peroxide, and scrub the underside and the crossbars until metal looks like metal again. Then run a peroxide-soaked paper towel around the inside of the throat as far down as you reach. That gray smear is your answer. That smell is not sewer gas, and I am careful with those words because it matters later. What you have is the colony itself giving off sulfur compounds, musty, sour, and it jumps for a minute when the hot water first runs. That is your tell. A hard, rotten egg smell that is there all the time is a different animal, and that is number 10. Top layer is off. Now we get the throat ready, and the next mistake is one of timing. Point 3. Number 3. Dry the drain out before you pour, and do it last thing at night. Here is the thing about that brown bottle. 3% hydrogen peroxide means 97% water already. You do not have much active ingredient, and it is plenty only if you keep it where you put it. Pour a cup into a throat with a puddle in it, and you watered the medicine down before it touched the patient. Worse, wet walls carry it straight past the film and into the trap. So blot the throat dry with a rag and do not run the water first. And this is why I want you doing this at night. The title says tonight, and it is not for drama. Bedtime is the only stretch in a normal house when nobody touches a tap, and 8 quiet hours on that line is what turns this from a rinse into a treatment. Pour it at 9 in the morning, let somebody shower at 10, and you spent your dollar for nothing. Dry throat, quiet house, everybody in bed. Now let us make sure the bottle in your hand is actually still peroxide, because there is a fair chance it is not. Point 4. Number 4. Use fresh 3% peroxide and test it before you trust it. That bottle is brown for a reason. Peroxide breaks down into water and oxygen, and light and heat and air all speed that up. Unopened in a dark cabinet, it holds for a year. Opened, half full, sitting in a bathroom with a window since the last scraped elbow, it is very likely water with a memory of being something else. I have watched folks pour a whole bottle of dead peroxide down a drain, get nothing, and decide the trick does not work. Their bottle was tap water. Here is the 10-second test. Cut a slice of potato and splash peroxide on the cut face. Raw potato is loaded with an enzyme called catalase, the same thing living in the gunk in your drain. Fresh peroxide foams up on that slice like a mug of beer. A few sad bubbles means the bottle is finished. Toss it. Buy the right stuff while you are at it. 3%. The drugstore concentration. The dollar bottle. Not the 6 or 12% salon developer, and absolutely not the 35% food grade people order online. That will burn your skin white in seconds and gives you nothing extra down a drain. One free habit. When you open a new bottle, write the date on the cap with a marker. Quick word before we keep going down the pipe. If this is the kind of thing you want more of, hit subscribe on the Vintage Pipefitter. It costs you nothing. Every week I put up one real repair out of the trade, the sort of fix that saves you a service call and takes about 10 minutes once somebody shows you how. That is the whole channel. Point 5. Number 5. Pour it slow, 1 to 2 cups, and aim at the walls. This is where people rush and lose most of the benefit. Do not dump it. Upend the bottle down the middle of the hole, and the whole cup drops through the tailpiece and lands in the trap water, which is the one place that does not need it much. What you want is a thin, steady stream poured around the rim, your hand moving in a slow circle, so it runs down the pipe wall instead of falling through the middle. That wall, the first 6 or 8 inches under the strainer, is where the film is thickest. Take a full 30 seconds to empty a cup. 1 cup does a shower. 2 if you have not touched it in years. More than that runs over the trap weir and down the line where it is wasted. Now stand there and watch, because this is the good part. Within seconds, you will hear it. A fine, crackling fizz, like soda poured over ice, coming up out of the hole. The bacteria in that film are full of catalysts, so the moment peroxide touches the colony, it splits into water and oxygen. And that oxygen comes off as millions of tiny bubbles right at the surface of the slime. 2 things happen at once. The oxidizing chews up the matrix holding that colony together, and the foam gets up under the loosened material and floats it. That is the whole mechanism, and it is what carries that gray-brown mess up to the strainer where you see it in the morning. Bleach will not do that for you, and I will come back to why. Poured and foaming. Now the hardest part of the job, which is doing nothing. Point 6. Number 6. Leave it alone 30 to 60 minutes and overnight if you can. Contact time is the whole game with any oxidizer. It has to sit on the target long enough to break it down, and there is no hurrying it. 30 minutes gets a fair result. An hour gets a good one. 6 to 8 hours overnight is where you get that scene on the strainer I described at the top, because the foam works in cycles as it finds fresh material. So, no water. Not a hand rinse, not a toilet flush in that bathroom if it shares a line. Tell the house, or hang a towel over the shower valve so nobody grabs it out of habit. While that sits, let me take you sideways to a piece of pipe most people have never once opened. Point 7. Number 7. The overflow tube, which nobody checks, and where the smell usually really lives. If you shower in a bathtub, look at the wall end above the drain. There is a round plate there, usually with the drain lever on it. Behind it is a length of pipe called the overflow, running down inside the tub wall into the drain right above the trap. Think about what that pipe does. It gets splashed and steamed every time somebody showers, then sits there damp and dark, and it never gets a real rinse, because water only runs down it if you fill the tub past the line. That is a perfect house for biofilm. Warm, damp, undisturbed, fed a little soap and skin every day. I have taken overflow plates off 20-year-old tubs and found that elbow-coated black all the way around. And here is the part that ties it together. The overflow ties in below the strainer, so all that peroxide you just poured never touched it. You can clean your shower drain perfectly and still smell it. And this is why. Take the 2 screws out of the plate. If there is a lever, the linkage comes with it, so ease it out slow and take a picture first so you know how it goes back. Wipe the linkage and the back of the plate with peroxide, then pour a half cup right down that opening. Walk-in shower with no tub? Pull the long grate on a linear drain and clean the channel and the basket at the outlet. That trough never dries. Both openings dosed. Come morning, we go down through the trap. Point 8. Number 8. Flush with hot water, and I mean hot, not boiling. In the morning, before you touch anything, look at the strainer. That is your payoff, and it is why I opened the way I did. It is disgusting, and it is proof the thing worked. Then run the shower on hot, full flow, 3 to 5 minutes. You are carrying everything you loosened out of the tailpiece, through the trap, and into the branch line where it belongs. A short rinse just moves it into the trap and lets it settle, which relocates your problem instead of solving it. Hot from the tap, not a kettle. And I want to explain that because there is a lot of bad advice going around about boiling water. Your tailpiece and trap are almost certainly PVC or ABS, and those joints are solvent welded, which is to say chemically melted together. Boiling water is 212 degrees, and that plastic starts going soft not far above it. Do it once, probably nothing. Do it weekly for a year the way people do when they are chasing a smell, and you can distort a slip washer or start a slow weep inside a wall. An older tub may also have a rubber gasket at the shoe, and repeated boiling water shortens its life. Tap hot is around 120 degrees, warm enough to keep soap fats moving, cool enough that nothing in your drain assembly cares. That is the job, top to bottom. Now the two things that can turn a dollar fix into a bad afternoon. Point 9. Number 9. Never mix this with vinegar in the pipe and never chase it with bleach. You will find videos telling you to pour peroxide and vinegar together for extra power. Do not do that. The two of them make peracetic acid, a serious irritant that will burn your eyes and your airway, and a closed bathroom with a curtain and no fan is a bad place to be making it. Use one or the other, separately, with a good rinse in between. Same rule for bleach, and that one is more common, because folks figure if a little is good, then more is better. Peroxide and chlorine bleach react. You get a fast release of oxygen, some heat, and a chance of it foaming back up at your face. And they cancel each other out, so you spent two products to end up with water. If you used bleach in that drain today, flush it well and wait a day. And the big one. If somebody already poured a caustic drain opener down there, the lye gel or the sulfuric acid kind, do not pour anything on top of it. That stuff sits in standing water, it is still active, and it will splash. That is when you stop and call somebody, and you tell them on the phone what is in the pipe. While I am at it, let me kill one more. Baking soda and vinegar as a clog clearer is theater. The fizz is carbon dioxide, and the two neutralize each other into salt water in about 15 seconds. It looks like something is happening in the sink, but nothing is happening in the pipe. Gloves on, one product at a time. Now the last one, and it is the one that keeps me honest with you. Point 10. Number 10. Know exactly what this fix is and what it is not. I would rather you trust me on the next 100 videos than oversell you on this one. Hydrogen peroxide is a biofilm stripper and a deodorizer. It is not a clog remover. If water is standing in your shower pan right now, peroxide is not your first move. That is a mechanical problem, and it needs a mechanical answer. Get the barbed zip tool, get the hair out, and if it will not reach, pull the trap and clean it. Then you use peroxide afterward as maintenance, so the film does not rebuild into the same plug 6 months from now. The other thing peroxide will not fix is a true sewer smell, and I want you able to tell the difference. Biofilm smell is musty and sour, worst when the hot water first runs, and it gets better for a couple of weeks after a night like this one. Sewer smell is a hard, rotten egg smell. It is there whether the water runs or not, and it is back within an hour of you cleaning anything. When I get that call, I look at 3 things. A dry trap in a guest bathroom nobody has used in a month, where the water evaporated and left an open pipe to the sewer. That one is free. Run water down every drain in that room, and the seal comes back. A failed wax ring under a nearby toilet, which gets worse when somebody sits down. Or a blocked vent, which is a real repair. Notice what is not on that list. $12 enzyme pouches and a $150 visit to be told in professional language that your drain has gunk in it. If tonight fixes your smell, you diagnosed and treated it yourself for $1. If it does not, you ruled out the most common cause, and you will know by morning. And subscribe. Before you go, thank you for staying with me all the way through. If any part of tonight helped, subscribing to the Vintage Pipefitter is the way to keep these walkthroughs coming to you. I post a new one every week, always a job you can handle yourself, always the small money-saving detail that took me years on the job to learn. Glad to have you here. Bonus tip post-CTA stinger. One more thing, and this is the one I said was worth the whole video. After you do this tonight, write the date on your calendar. Then pay attention to how long it takes before the smell comes back. That timer is the best diagnostic tool you own, and it costs you nothing. If the smell stays gone 3 or 4 weeks, your problem was exactly what we treated, and you are done. Drop to maintenance. Half a cup down that drain every couple of weeks, overnight, and you are set. If it comes back in 2 or 3 days, the colony is deeper than your tailpiece, out in the trap arm where a cup never reached. Go bigger. A full bottle poured slow, then a second half cup 30 minutes later. If that will not hold it, pull the trap and clean it by hand. And if it comes back within a few hours, stop buying peroxide. That is not biofilm. That is a dry trap, a bad wax ring, or a vent, and now you know to look there, instead of scrubbing a drain that is already clean. 3 answers, 3 different repairs, and you bought that information for $1 and 1 night's patience. My Uncle Ray used to say the smell always tells you something. You just have to give it a chance to talk. Go pull that strainer. I will see you next week.